Hello, everyone. It is the coaching corner with me, Jamia, the IP coach. So, welcome, everyone. Do come in. Hello, teacher with the T. Nice to see you. So, as always, hold on, fix my jam. I won't be on here, all jacked up. So, as always, before we begin, I am Jamila, aka the IP coach. Hello, advocate for me. I am Jamila, aka the IP coach, and I am the owner of the IP Coach LLC. We help principals keep their special education teachers from leaving the field by providing professional development and coaching that special education teachers need. I'm a former special education teacher and special education supervisor, so I know what that life is like. I've been there, done that. I know exactly what we need. We need training tailored to the work that we do in the field. So that's where I come in. That's what the IP coach does. This is what we do. We do this, okay? So as always, share out this live. Share it out with as many people as possible. And as I'm telling you to do it, I am doing it myself as well. So make sure you share this out. All right. Hello. Is that Masika underscore? I hope I pronounced your name right. Masika underscore. So let's share out this live. Share it out. Share it out. Share out the live. I'm sharing it out. Share 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 it out. Okay. Yes. Share it out. Share it out. Share it out. Share it out. I'm sharing it out. Share it out. Share it out. All right. I'm going to do a few more. All right. Here we go. All right. I shared it out. Hey, assalamu alaikum, cousin Khalid. How are you? Hey. So, yesterday I shared a reel, and the reel included a clip from one of my favorite shows, Abbott Elementary. If you don't watch Abbott Elementary, you need to watch Abbott Elementary. I love Abbott Elementary. I love that show. If you're not on it, get on it. Watch it, okay? So, in the recent episode, Melissa, who's one of the teachers on the show, she was talking with a parent, talking with a student's parents, and she mentioned how the student was struggling with their reading and how she wanted to, just get her tested just to make sure there aren't any issues. So I made a reel about it. So basically, if you haven't seen it on my page, quickly go see it. Go see it. Just check it out real quick. So in the reel, I have the clip, of what she said, and then my reaction is I just stopped eating. Like, hold up, and I paused. So I said I was gonna respond to the clip on my live today. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna respond because I'm like, hold up, Melissa, you missed some steps. You skipping steps right now. How you gonna jump to testing somebody right now? We skipping steps, and we don't skip steps because it's a process. You don't just jump right to something and say you want to test the kid, or like, oh, we're gonna test right away, you're gonna get an IP. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. This is not how it is. It's a process. Okay? So I'm gonna go over that process. Okay? And for those of you who have just joined, welcome. This is the coaching corner with the IP coach. So please share out the live with as many people as possible, and share with someone who you feel needs to hear this information. You can tag someone as well. Okay, so make sure you share it out. So, like I said, this live is going to focus on my response to the clip that I shared in my reel yesterday. And I got a lot of feedback, got some comments. Someone said, oh my God, I think they was trying to do that to my son. So I hope he has joined. I hope that person has joined, because he definitely commented on my page. So I hope you join. Oh, thank you for asking. I'm doing good too. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. So let's jump right on. Let's jump right on in. So, like I said, there is a process when you don't just jump to say, "Oh, let's get your child tested." And the parents, if that has ever happened to you, that is not that should not have happened. You don't do that. That's not what you do. Okay. Now, every school has a MTSS process or RTI process. So MTSS, multi-tiered student support. RTI, response to intervention, or RTII, response to intervention program. Every school, every education institution has one. So it's basically the process that you're going to go through if your student is presenting academic needs, attendance needs, or behavior needs. Okay, so there's a process. I know in a lot of charter schools they call it MTSS, and a lot of public schools RTII, RTI process. So basically, it's just response to whatever interventions that you're going to do. Okay, so first things first, parents, be very involved in your child's education. So that way you always know if your child is doing good, if your child is having any difficulty, you always know because you communicate with the teachers. So definitely always have that open line of communication. And parents, I cannot stress this enough. Always require teachers to present data to you if they share anything about your child doing very, very good or if they're struggling. Always make sure they present data to you. Do not just take what they're saying. Just say, oh, you know what? So and so isn't really doing too good. You can say, really, can you show me your test? Can you show me his or her test scores? Can you show me your data, please? Never just take what is being said for face value. Just like if you go to the doctor and a doctor tells you you're pregnant, ladies, you're gonna say, "Excuse me, let me see test results." You're gonna say, "Let me see the test results," Or if you have high blood pressure, if you have this disease, you're gonna want some proof, some data to show that you actually have that disease. Let me see. Same thing applies to the classroom. You want data that supports, oh, my child is struggling, so that way you can see where they're struggling. You can look at the scores, you can look at the class, you can look at homework. Okay. Now, again, every school has a response to intervention process. Okay. Like I said, multi-tier student support service or response to intervention. Okay. Now, those systems have tiers. So there's different levels. So you have tier 1, you have tier 2, and you have tier 3. Tier 1 interventions are things like what is being done in a classroom to help your child with whatever need they have. What are some things we could do in a classroom to help your child? So that could be something as giving your child extra time on an exam. It could be doing more small groups in a classroom. It could be if it's behavior, you may be tracking a particular behavior, just tracking it. You may do a contract with that student for their behavior. You may do an incentive with that student. So it's all the things you can do in the classroom. Okay. Now, you always want to give interventions time. So you want to at least do it for 6 weeks to collect data. Now, when you collect data, your data is going to show that, oh, this is working for the student. Let's continue to do this. Or your data is going to show, okay, this is not working. We need to do something more intensive for this student. That's where tier 2 comes in. You have to complete a tier 2 nomination needs to be completed a tier 2 nomination form needs to be completed. And at that meeting, tier 2 meeting, whichever grade your child is in, if they're in 5th grade, 6th grade, you have 5th grade team, 6th grade team, 1st grade team, whatever, they will present the data that they've collected to present a tier 2 nomination. So that data is going to back up why they are requesting tier 2 interventions. Okay. So it's not like you just come to the meeting like, oh, this kid needs tier 2 interventions. You got to have data to back up why tier 2 interventions are needed. Tier 2 interventions are a step up from tier 1. So in tier 2 interventions, you may be doing an intervention program. Let's say they have trouble with reading and math. You may do Lexia. You may do Wilson. You may could be doing an Orton Gilliam program. You could be doing corrective reading. You could be doing not key math. You could be doing IXL program, or you could be doing corrective math, or you could be doing iReady math. You could be doing some type of intervention. If it's behavior, you could be doing a check-in, check-out program at your school for the student. You could be doing that student may get at-risk counseling. It's a tier 2 intervention. And again, you want to do it for 6 weeks to see, okay, is this student showing improvement? If they're showing improvement, you want to do it for an additional 6 weeks to ensure that it is actually working. That is actually working for the student. Okay. Now, tier 2, you're doing a tier 2 intervention. Continue to track the data. Your data is going to show it's working, or your data is going to show, okay, this is not working. Okay. So if tier 2, if you've been doing the tier 2 interventions for a while, hello, Demetra. If you're doing tier 2 interventions and they're not working, you have your data to show that it is not working, then you would go to tier 3. Tier 3 is like intense intervention. And it is at this tier where the decision is made, where it's like, okay, perhaps this child may need to be evaluated. It is not, once you get to tier 3, you're going to automatically get an IEP. You're automatically going to get that's not what that means. The whole process, the whole purpose of having the MTSS or the RTI process, the end goal is not to get an IEP. It is not to get tested. Is to get to the interventions you need to improve so that you don't need to get to tier 3. Okay? Because there are some teachers. Yes, and if it's not working, that doesn't mean, boom, let's go to tier 3, get it and do an IEP, and let's get this whole evaluation. No, like Demetra said, please, if it's not working, change the intervention. Change the intervention. The particular intervention you're using may not be working for that kid. So do something else. I can even remember being in some schools where some teachers, their mindset was, the goal is to get the IEP. The end goal of the RTI process or the MTSS process is to get an IEP, and that's not what it is. The whole point of having your MTSS and your response to intervention program in your school is to provide interventions so that it can improve your students' needs, improve in those skills so that they don't need an IEP. Let me look at the comments. Demetra said, unfortunately, so many people feel the goal is to get them in special education. That is so true, Demetra. Like, absolutely, that is so true. You have a lot of people, they're like, okay, we're in the RTI process. The end goal is an IEP, and that is not it. Parents, I'm telling you that right now. That is not the end goal. The goal is to get the interventions. Of course, start off in the classroom. If that's not working, you're going to try a bunch of different things in the classroom. And then if that's not working, then you have a nomination. You have to complete a nomination form as to why you may need more intense intervention. For example, an intervention program, like a reading intervention program or a math intervention program. You're not just automatically, I'm just going to give the student this. You're not just automatically pushing the kid through the tiers to get to the end, because that's not working. And that's not what it is. There's some mindset work that needs to be done in a lot of these schools for teachers, because a lot of their mindset is, special education is the end goal when you're in the response to intervention program. The IEP is the end goal, and that is not it. And parents, I have said this over and over and over and over. What is that D word that I say always need to present, always need to be presented? If a teacher or anybody says your child is struggling or your child is doing good, you want them to present what? What is that D word I keep telling you guys you need to request? You need to request. You need to. What is that D word? Somebody tell me. Put it in the comments. Somebody tell me what's that D word. Put it in the comments, and you know what it is. Documentation of your what? What are you documenting? Holistic fluency. You're documenting the what? You're documenting the what? Hello. Is it Shelly Autism Mom? I hope I said that right. Or Shelly Autism Mom. You're documenting your what? Your data. Yes. Your documentation, the documentation of the data. And Demetra just pointed out a great point. When if your child requires interventions, you want to make sure that school is providing research-based interventions, okay? Not just something that they created themselves, okay? So like for instance, at my school, we did corrective reading. That's a research-based reading intervention program. You have Wilson. Those are research-based intervention programs. You want something that has standards. You want something that has standards that are aligned to a particular criteria. And it's not just something they just threw together and said, "Oh, we're going to do this." No, 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 no. You want a standardized research-based program, not something the school just threw together. Hello, mentor teacher Lee. Absolutely holistic fluency, no freestyling. You're not trying to freestyle with your child, okay? And that's not what we want. Research-based interventions. Shell. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I was close. I hate to butcher anyone's name. Shell. Hello, Shell underscore autism. Thank you for that. So yes, always parents, anytime a teacher or anyone at the school is telling your child is doing so well, even if they're telling you they're doing so well, oh my gosh, show me your data. I want to see. I want to see the test scores. I want to see the project. Have them present the documented data that they have. Always remember that word, data, 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 or documentation. Always remember that. You want to have documentation of the progress that your child is doing, or documentation of where they are presenting needs. You always want that documentation, okay? And Demetria made another point. She said when you're doing an intervention, you want it to be explicit instruction, explicit direct instruction. If I'm having trouble decoding, I need an explicit program instruction that's going to help me with that decoding. What's going to help me with my decoding? Phonics is going to help me with my decoding because I clearly don't know the sounds. I haven't grasped that. So I need a research-based intervention that's going to give me that explicit direct instruction and with the skill that I am struggling in. Okay, parents? Okay, let me recap. So, those of you who have just joined, I'm responding to the reel that I posted yesterday, and it had the clip from Abbott's Elementary. If you're not on that show, get on it. I love that show. So the clip showed the teacher, Melissa, who she was talking to a student's parents about how she's struggling with reading and how she was thinking about was telling the parents, "Oh, let's get her tested." That was the synopsis of the video of the reel, and it was just. And I said I would respond on the coaching corner. So you always, of course, parents, you want the open communication with teachers and school staff, just so you always have that open communication, so that way you always know if your child is doing well or if they're struggling in anything. You have that open communication with them. Now, every school has an MTSS process, multi-tiered student support process at their school, or they might call it RTI, response to intervention. Okay, each of those programs have tiers. They have a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3. And tier 1 are interventions that can be done in a classroom for your student for their area of need. So tier 1, simple things like differentiating the instruction, where they may change the format of the test. They may change the time they're giving the test. They may do more small groups with your child in the classroom. They may give them extended time in the classroom. It's all things that they can do in the classroom. Okay. And these response to intervention is for academics, it's for behavior, it's for attendance. Okay. Now that's all in tier one. And you want to do it when you're doing these interventions, you want to do them for at least a certain amount of time, and I'll say at least 6 weeks to gather data. Now you may do tier one interventions, and that's enough. Some students require tier two interventions, which are a little bit more intensive. Okay, and because it's a process, there is a form you have to fill out as for a tier two nomination, explaining why does this student require tier two interventions, and what will you use? The data that you have collected from the tier one interventions that was done in the classroom. Okay, and then tier two interventions, that could be a reading intervention, a math intervention. You want to make sure that it is a research-based intervention and that it does explicit direct instruction in the area that your child is struggling. So if the skill that your child is struggling in is decoding, you want to make sure they're going to get that explicit direct instruction with decoding with a research-based intervention. If it's comprehension, direct instruction for that skill of comprehension with a research-based intervention. Okay, if it's math, it's multiplication, explicit direct instruction on multiplication, because that's where they're struggling. Okay, and whatever intervention program, you want to make sure it's a research-based intervention. You don't want the school to say, "Oh, we put something together for you." No, you don't want no freestyle program, anything. You don't want none of that. You want a research-based intervention where your child is going to get explicit direct instruction. Okay, and then of course you're going to do that for 6 weeks. Do that for a certain amount of time to collect the data. Hey, and if they're doing good, do it for another 6 weeks to ensure that they're really benefiting from the intervention. And if that intervention is not working, try a different intervention. You don't just try a different intervention. Tier 3 is more extensive interventions. Okay, now it's extensive intervention, and also during this tier, which is tier 3, there may be a conversation, and parents along, when your child gets tier 2 interventions, you will be notified. Okay, um, and in tier 3, that conversation of getting a student evaluated may come up depending on that child's needs. However, as you can see, we done went through tier 1, we done went through tier 2. You see all this data that is being collected. That is the whole point of having these response to intervention processes, and every school has one. Do know the end all be all is not to get your child to tier 3, to get the evaluation, to get an IEP. That is not the goal. The goal is to get the interventions, to get the explicit direct instruction through research-based interventions if your child needs it, so that they can improve those skills. The goal is not to be evaluated and to get an IEP. I just want you all to understand that, parents. I want you to know that, parents, okay? No freestyle, parents, no freestyling. We don't want that. Shell_autism mom said, have them identify your child's baseline prior to setting goals. Make sure they set achievable goals. Absolutely. The whole point of collecting that data as well is to get a baseline, is to see, okay, where is your child at right now? Get the baseline score so you know where you're starting at, where you need to build from. And this is how you will tell if your child is making progress or not. Look at the baseline scores. Look at those baseline skills where they are, so you can see, oh, they're getting better, or if they're staying where they are. Okay? And when you set the goals, you want to make sure your child has success. You want to make sure it's achievable. If your child's baseline, let's say the baseline is 30, You may want to start off with aiming for perhaps 50 or 60%. And if they get to 50 or 60%, let's bump it up to 80%. Okay? You want to make sure the goals are achievable. Okay, parents? So, parents, before I end this live, anytime a teacher or school staff tells you your child is struggling in something or your child is doing so well, what do you need from that teacher? What's the first thing that should come out your mouth to that teacher? What should you request from that teacher or from that school? What should you request? It starts with a D. I need you to put it in the comments. What do you need to request? What is it? You always need this. Because when you go to the doctor, you want to make sure you have it too. If your doctor say you have this condition, or you have, and ladies, hey, your doctor come and tell you you're pregnant, you're gonna be like, hold up, wait. Let me see that. What are you gonna ask? You want to see the what? Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. Let me see. Let me see. Who's paying attention? Put it in there. Don't be shy. I say this all the time, and like, data, yes, advocate for me. Data, documentation to support, absolutely. If you don't remember nothing else I said tonight, remember you always need documentation. And just get in the habit of doing that. The teacher tell you something. Oh, excuse me, can I see the documentation? Can I see the test? Can I see his homework? Can I see her homework? Can I see her get the documentation? Because you know when you go to the doctor and you get your test results, you want to see the results. Let me see those receipts. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I want to see my levels. Let me see. Okay? All right. So if you are catching this on the replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments. Make sure you follow me, the IEP Coach LLC. We're on all platforms. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We're on link. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. And for those of you who are new, you're welcome, Shell_Autism Mom. Those of you who are new to my page, I am Jamila, aka the IEP Coach. I am the owner of the IEP Coach LLC. We provide support to principals to help them keep their special education teachers from leaving the field, and we help them from getting sued too by helping them stay in compliance. Okay, I'm a former special education teacher and a former special education supervisor, so I've been there, done that. I know what sped teachers need. I know the type of training we need. The training that we provide at the IEP Coach LLC, it is tailored to what special education teachers do in their field, in their job, and that's what they need. This is what's going to help you principals that are watching. This is going to help you to not get sued, and this is going to help you support your special education teachers so they feel more confident in their role so that they can stay in the field. Okay? And as always, hashtag replay in the comments if you are catching the replay. Share this out, and we go live every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Coaching Corner, all things special education. And also, we have debuted our Their Voices series. For this particular series, every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are focusing on parents going through who have gone through or are going through the special education process, and they're sharing their experiences. So the Their Voices platform is to elevate the voices of those who you normally don't hear from. Okay, so make sure you tune in this Sunday, all right? And make sure you tune in every Tuesday for the Coaching Corner. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.